Hello everybody, welcome back to Blues Focus TV for another full-time match reaction video, and this week's episode is going to be so much easier to talk about because there's actually things to say, unlike our 0-0 midweek against Millwall. But this afternoon we managed to beat Stoke City by 2-1 away from home, coming away with all 3 points. Now I've got to be brutally honest about Stoke City. I thought they were poor. I try and come on here and say something somewhat positive about each team, but Stoke looked way off it, and given their position in the league, I assume that's how they've been for the majority of the season. I certainly know the fans aren't happy at the moment, but a poor Stoke performance this afternoon. But contrast to that, we were fantastic. Another great Blues performance. We're on absolute fire at the moment, aren't we? But Scott Hogan opened the scoring fairly early on. He did really well actually to win it off the Stoke City defender after a really good bit of pressure from Blues. And his tackle, it was a weird one. It was a really nicely taken tackle, but it was almost like a nice touch to set himself up on his left foot as well. But a nicely taken finish on his weaker side, went underneath the keeper and went into the bottom right hand corner of the goal. So a really nicely taken goal from Hogan. I put out a tweet in the middle of the game just to say that I think Hogan's been phenomenal recently. He is the best version of Hogan we've ever seen. I know he had that period when he first came to Blues where he was fantastic, but in my opinion, this is a completely different Scott Hogan, not just for the goals he's scoring, but what he's doing off the ball as well, the pressure he's applying, the hold-up play, the passing. He looks like a completely different player, and it's so nice to see him playing with confidence and just being like an old Scott Hogan was at Brentford. So yeah, really nice to see him score that goal. And then obviously our second goal came from a corner. Hannibal Mabry, a really nicely taken corner, found Harley Dean at the back post and he was able to head it home. I'm over the moon to see Dean score a goal. He deserves it. He's come back into this team and he's been superb. He did get a few goals for Blues as well before he was dropped from the team, but it's nice to see him get that one again, and hopefully he can bag himself a few more from corners. But no, a really nicely taken header, and of course a corner from Hannibal was fantastic. On set pieces he was a bit off today, but obviously he got the set piece to assist Dean, so can't complain too much. And his performance outside of that was absolutely brilliant once again. Hannibal is just an unbelievable player. Given he's 19 years old, he is going to grow into a huge talent. Again, he was all over the pitch. He was drawing so many fouls. I was quite surprised to see Eustace bring him off. Obviously, in the end, it didn't matter because we got all 3 points. But I certainly thought if there was one player that needed to play the full 90 today, it was him, because he was winning challenges all over the pitch. He was causing Stoke problem after problem. So no, Hannibal was superb today. My man of the match for sure. Thought he was brilliant. Obviously Stoke City as well did manage to find the back of the net through a penalty. No question about it. It was a definite penalty, tripped inside the box, and Ruddy was so close to saving it, but it just went under his arm. Speaking of Ruddy, thought he had an okay performance today. Thought he had a few little wary moments, particularly in the first half. A few passes that went a bit astray, but given his performance so far this season, we can't complain too much. Again, he made a few good saves today, particularly that volley on the edge of the box. I thought he dealt with really well, because given the slippy pitch and given the sea of bodies in front of him, that's never easy to deal with, but certainly a good save there. So a bit shaky today at times, Ruddy, but I'm not complaining. Another good performance. He made some decent saves and he's been superb throughout this season, so can't complain too much. Defensively, I thought we were solid today. I think we did really well in the last 10-15 minutes to hold out. Despite Stoke's pressure, we limited their chances. They didn't have too many shots on goal during that period. And throughout the game, I thought we were fairly solid as well. Midfield-wise, was Bielik, Hannibal and Bakuna who started today. All 3 of them I thought were really good. Again, Bielik and Hannibal are just those 2 defensive midfielders that are absolutely perfect. I mentioned Hannibal, but again, Bielik put some really nice challenges in today. I think it was right to drop to Heath Chong after his midweek performance against Millwall. And this is what I like from Eustace. If a player just sort of starts to gets just a slight drop in form, he's not afraid to change things up. This is something we did not see under Bowyer. Bowyer would pick the same 11 week in, week out, no matter how he got on the week before. But Eustace isn't afraid to make these decisions, and it pays off. Longolo was dropped today too. Longolo had a bit of I thought he was okay on Wednesday night defensively, but going forward he was a bit off. He was quite poor. He wasn't really getting the crosses into the box. So Graham came in and Graham did a decent job. Don't get me wrong, I still think Longolo's our stronger option, but Graham did an okay job. But it's just nice to see a manager who's not afraid to make these decisions. But Bakuna was right to start today. Bakuna did well, and when Chong came on, he did what he had to do fairly decently. And then obviously the strike partnership of Djukovic and Hogan today. Dini came on last 5 minutes, again did what he had to do. But Djukovic did look good today. He looked really good actually. I wasn't sure how he'd cope with the full 90 minutes or 85 minutes. But it was a good performance from him, nice and solid. Obviously, Hogan got the goal, don't need to touch on him anymore. But in terms of Djukovic, again, winning headers, bring the ball down well. You know exactly what you're going to get from Djukovic. And he did his job today. He did exactly what he had to do. So a good performance from him. Obviously, now we've got Swansea midweek, followed by Sunderland on the Friday, so Tuesday, Friday. And then we've got the World Cup break. That does put us into 11th, though. 4 points off the playoffs and 7 off the drop. So what a position we're in. If we can be top 10 before the World Cup, wow, that would be fantastic. I think we should be aiming for 4 points in these next 2 games. I think anything less is a bit of a disappointment given how good we're doing at the moment. But that should certainly be the benchmark. Given both games are home as well, I think that's a big advantage. So hopefully we can pick up all 6 points, but a minimum of 4 would be fantastic. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video and of course the game today. I'm sure you did, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep right on.